Hey there everybody, this is Stagerdon with another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at Figma Guts from the anime manga Berserk. This particular incarnation of Guts based on the manga more so than the anime. He came out in 2012. He's actually my first Figma figure. Before that, I hadn't even really considered collecting figures in any way, shape, or form. But one day I was just kind of browsing on Amazon and happened to come across him, and I was surprised by the amount of detail and accessories that the figure came with. So I decided to pick him up, and from there I kind of discovered all the other stuff to do with Berserk afterwards. So that's just kind of the backstory of how I got into the whole medium of Berserk and Figma in general. So let's get into it then. So he's just got his box back here. So we'll get into that just off the bat. Got the trays out for quite a while because, like I said, I've had this figure for about 5 years. But the size of the box is about 8.5 inches high, and it's about 3 inches wide. And you can see there's a picture there of, he's got like the dragon slayer on his back there, and all the different poses you can get him into, and there's a whole bunch of details on the back written in Japanese. And you can see there he's Figma number 120, so they're up to well over 300 now, so that gives you an idea of the age of this figure. But yeah, so that's the box. Yeah, he's spectacular overall. I really like the amount of detail they have on his design as a whole. Just all the little weapons and you know, just the amount of you know, detail is what really attracted me to this figure in the first place, because I had never seen anything like that. So yeah, let's just kind of break it down. This figure is due to be released again by Figma in December of 2017, so this coming December if you're watching this video in 2017. And the nice thing about this re-release is they're not trying to get people that already have the figure to rebuy it, so it's all just the exact same stuff that he comes with right now. The head sculpts that he has and the design, and you know, so it's more like you know, in case you missed it, now is your opportunity kind of thing. So anyway, so we'll get into you know, just kind of looking at the sword and all that stuff. So here's the Dragon Slayer, and this Dragon Slayer comes out of the hand just through a peg like that, right? And you can just pop that back on there and adjust that with the bit of fabric there that's off the grip. All right, so I like how that's a nice detail, and you kind of, you know, you can arrange that however you want. But just to kind of look at that. So it's obviously, you know, it's like a really big sword, right? As it would be in the anime and the manga. And interesting thing, I'm not sure where the whole idea of, you know, whether it be in anime or, you know, just kind of stuff in general, where the whole gigantic sword thing came about. But I know for sure that this predated Cloud Strife's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII by many years, so I'm not sure if they based that particular sword off the Dragon Slayer, but it's definitely something to think about. So it's got like a very nice, you know, grayish metallic color. It's not flimsy, right? It's got like a very you know, kind of hard plastic look to it. It's not very brittle. It's not very, you know, overly sharp and pointy. But this is a whole kind of company kind of gears towards more of an adult collector, so I definitely wouldn't recommend it for children, but you know, it's definitely not as pointy as some of the other collectible things I've seen over the years. So that's the Dragon Slayer. So we'll have a look at the cape first of all. So this is, you know, it's not like a paper. It's almost like a very starchy, very rough fabric, and I particularly like this kind of look because you know, for posability, it's not, you know, as if there was like a wire running along the inside, but it just kind of, you know, it fits the character. It's not really bland. It's got very, you know, it's got a look to it, and you know, it's not likely to rip unless you really, you know, are rough with it. So yeah, it's definitely suitable for the character. And the point here, there's like a port here that you can fit the Dragon Slayer through, right? If you take the tab off there, you can fit through the part here. Alright, so you can fit that through there, and you can just kind of link it onto, I'll show you in a bit, you can put it through the part on Guts' back there and have him wearing the Dragon Slayer with the cape. So I always like that as a nice authentic touch. Like, they've really, you know, thought all this through, like how we can make it exactly how it should be in relation to the stuff that you'd see Guts in. So this whole part here is hard plastic, and you can see the detail in here. So it's got some wrinkles and ruffles there, and it's just got like a, you know, little tie off there for the bow or a knot or whatever he's got there. So overall, that's really nice too. So here he is, and yeah, just overall the whole look of Guts is, you know, he's for an anime character, he's really I don't know, not different, but he's definitely got a unique look to him, because of course the whole idea of Berserk's history is just kind of like medieval Europe, and with a whole bunch of stuff thrown in there. So for a medieval looking character, he's very very authentic that way. They got a lot of the stuff correct of how that kind of time period would be. So he's got like these shoulder pads here, and those are all just kind of like this part here is hard plastic, softer plastic here, so you don't impede the articulation. You get some really nice muscle definition here in the veins, and he's definitely been lifting a lot of Dragon Slayer weight over the years. And you get some, if you can focus that, so he's got like a bandage there, knife there, you know, what do you call it, a cod piece, right? And that's all just kind of nicely stitched there. You know, you got these buckles leading up here, and like I say, he's got all these replacement things along the strap. Chain is actual metal, and he's got these pouches here, you know, very nice pouches, and you can see all the stitching. So it's just overall very well done. Flaps on the pouches even. And this is the part here. That I was talking about. So you mainly just put this through, right, and you'd have the Dragon Slayer fit into this piece here, right? So that just kind of goes like that, and then you can have the Dragon Slayer fit through there, right? And then if you've got the cape on or whatever, And the chain link on the back, like I said, the original comes with gray. I put this gold one on. I forget where I actually even got that from, but that just kind of hooks on to the hook here, right? So you just kind of put that on there, and then you can have him wearing the sword, with or without the cape, when he's not using it. So yeah, that's just kind of the overall look of the figure. I forgot to mention he's got like the whole mechanic arm. That's another spoiler if you haven't seen any of the Berserk stuff. So that's him in a nutshell, pretty much. Let's get into some of his accessories. So, like every other Figma figure, he comes with a Figma stand. You can't really see that, but it says Figma on there. Yeah, and so these things are pretty good. They plug into the back of the characters. Each Figma comes with a hole on the back of the particular figure, and you know they got good range of articulation on those. And yeah, you can stand these guys up. You can have them flying, and the screws are adjustable if you really want to get those joints tightened up. So that's the stand. Figma figure comes with a bag that you can put the variety of accessories they give you, and that's all zip-locked, and they give you a little hole here so you can peg that onto something if you so wish. The thing he comes with is this special back port for the stand, so I can show you that. So it's just kind of like an extension to fit onto there like so. I guess just in case you want to have them on a, you know, a different pose, definitely use it on the figure however you wish. You can just plug that into the back there, and you know, for whatever you want. There's endless possibilities for these figures, I find. Of course, he comes with a whole slew of hands here, and yeah, so he's got an open-handed one for each hand, right? Bandaged or otherwise. He's got yeah, so 2 open hands, 2 holding hands, more of an angled hand there, and this one's more of an angled hand with like a relaxed thumb. And the ones that he has on there already, that's a fist hand for the mechanical arm, and this is of course like your regular sword holding hand. This is a particularly unique hand with you know, a special look for its intended purpose. So you know, you can get him to have the cannon hand, where he just kind of flips down his wrist and out pops the cannon, so you can have that for when he's ready to obliterate anything that's giving him too much trouble, if the Dragon Slayer just isn't doing the job. And his crossbow arm, which they did include actually, they don't have the box that sits on top loaded with all the arrows, so that that it's not actually included, but it's not actually included with the new one, the re-release either. So you know, I think that might have been too difficult, but so he does have the cannon hand, and that's really nice, and that just kind of plugs in there like I showed you, and there's no like open part there, but and no articulation either, it's just kind of on there. He does come with 1 additional head, and like I said, the re-release that's coming out in December comes with the exact same face sculpts, and that's very nice. He's very angry, and this character has a number of reasons to be angry, so it's really important that they include this face. So I like that. The one other face I wish they had included was the one from way back when he's fighting the elves of Misty Valley, and he finds out that the children that have been kidnapped might not all be what they seem, and that particular face is quite interesting. Yeah, the other one is obviously the one that you've seen already, so he's just kind of got like this, you know, very basic looking face to him. So that's very nice. Hair is really nicely sculpted on both. They've got the mark on his nose. So Guts, like most Figma figures, has a very wide variety of articulation. There's pretty much limited by your imagination on how you compose these guys. So these hands are pegs, right? So you just kind of peg those in there. So those kind of just swivel at the wrist, and then they can just kind of bend back and forward like so, right? And just kind of do like a full 360 how they would on any other peg. Then they've got the Figma joints there, which are just kind of like two interlocking discs, I guess you could say, and those can bend, you know, past the 90, and then all the way down like so, and then his shoulder goes about that high with the, like I said, this is softer, so that's really nice, and they give you a lot of space under here to pose that, because like I said, he is quite a muscular in design, so it's important that they give you a pretty significant range of motion. So they do have like a ball joint in there that permits you to do, you know, all the range of motions that you might need. The head joint is kind of two, so he has one point I forgot to mention actually, now that I'm thinking about the head joint. So they did include the brand of sacrifice on the back of his neck, which is also quite important. So going back to articulation, yeah, he's got like another joint under here that is kind of difficult to pre-attach, but I'll show you. So you can see there, that's the head neck joint, and then he's got like another neck joint here, so I'll put that back in here. So there he is like that. So you can move him at the neck, and you can also move him at the head there, and that of course goes on a full 360 and up and down, and you can go significantly further up and down based on the fact that they gave you another joint in there. So, and you can look up about that much. And yeah, so for the legs you can go out about that much, right? So not a whole lot, but you don't really need to, you know, and I can't really think why you would need Guts to do the splits in the first place, but so that's a bit softer there, so you can do that about that much, and then you can do the other part about that much. And knee articulation is about that much, and it can swivel about that much. Right, so you can get him into a whole variety of crouching poses and just kind of different stances based on the leg joints, and then of course the ankle articulation does pivot like so and goes backwards and forwards. Not so much like that, because you can see like the design of the boot doesn't really allow for that, but yeah, it does have quite a range of motion as it is, and he doesn't have any peg holes in the bottom of his feet, but you don't really need that because he's got the stand. So, and just to measure him out, he does stand at a little over 6 inches tall here, nearly 6.5. I haven't got him fully standing up straight here, so about 6.5. And yeah, so he does fit and scale with a lot of other tall Figmas, and if you happen to get a lot of the other Berserk figures coming out right now, that's you know, probably going to scale almost consistently, because they seem to be pretty good at keeping the height comparison with a lot of these figures, you know, really relevant from franchise to franchise. So yeah, so overall I give Guts a 10 out of 10. You know, it's just a strict amount of detail on the figure. The articulation is phenomenal. You know, the overall design, and you know, yeah, just detail went into the figure. So I think that you know, based on Figma's long track record of quality figures, hopefully we'll get a Silk or Shirk. I think that's how you say her name. The little witch companion that is traveling around with Guts right now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.